Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Yes, we're kicking off with just reviewing the just concluded elections in Ondo State. Mr. Eni Akinshola joins us now. He's a member of that campaign team. Good morning and thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you, Chamberlain. It's my pleasure being with you this morning.
Yeah, so normally, I know you might have been clicking some champagne and popping all of that, but the PDP want to shatter some of those glasses. They say that election was a sham and they're not going to accept it, and all sorts of allegations coming through. But give us your impression of what you saw and how the elections came through in terms of the conduct. We've seen the result, but the processes. Were you really satisfied with how the processes turned out?
I'll confess to you that we had expectations of this kind of resounding victory. I've had to say this before, and I have to repeat it here and now. The PDP was not prepared for an election in Ondo State. At the Ondo State level, the party was in tatters. It could not manage its post-primary realities. At the national level, you all know the bifurcations, the schism that has torn the party apart. So if anybody is planting coconut and wants to reap cocoa, the fact that they start with CO does not mean that that is possible. They planted coconut. They cannot reap cocoa. On the other side, the APC managed its internal crisis. So immediately after the primaries, all reconciliatory efforts were made. Not that alone, the governor went to town, winning other members, depleting the PDP across the state, wooing members from other minority parties, reconciling internally, campaigning on the issues, why the PDP was busy accusing this, accusing that. And this result is not unexpected. In fact, I want to credit the PDP for the little thing that they could put, and this is not being mocking them on anything, that they could pull 117, shows that, well, I see some semblance of people who are committed to that party at the local level. But they are doing so not because they have trust in their leadership, they're just doing so because they're members of that party. I encountered several of them at the polling units. I had about 5 polling units in my immediate vicinity and 20 in my immediate ward. And the information and in my interaction with PDP members, you could see gloom. They told us that, look, it's not as if we know our candidate can do any better. He's not such a man of integrity. But you see, we don't want to leave our party. The other thing is that they say the worst I heard anybody say about our governor is that he's miserly. And I'm saying this on national television, you may not like it. But this me, you know me. They say our governor does not like spending money, or doesn't like throwing money around, or that's what. So when I have people say it is monetized, it's not monetized, I laugh. A governor that you can hardly squeeze anything out of. But you see, that is politics for you. Now to the particulars of in quote and unquote infractions, I will not preempt the PDP, but from my immediate environment, 20 units in my Okumo ward, there was no single case of infraction. Nobody was around. In fact, it was convivial. We were like celebrating. The APC people were like, leave the back of the main event, come into the center of the thing. That was what was happening. And people were laughing and throwing banters. And we all expected this. Expected.
Where do we then place the comments by the PDP, which says that where they accuse the party of vote buying and to buy votes in such huge capacity? They say that it only has to be someone who's got access to the purse in the state, who's got that deep pocket, which happens to be the ruling party in the state.
My brother, that is politics. They're just throwing politics words around. Vote buying, where, who, by who? How did you buy? Who bought from you? Can you give a particular of somebody who procured one vote from you or from another person? And you see, and I must say this on national television too. Politics and democracy all over the world involves some resources. And we deceive ourselves, we do not think it involves resources. But I do not see anywhere anybody bought food. I saw where people mobilized heavily. Before the election, the APC touched every ward, every community, in this place, met all traditional rulers, met all interest groups, met artisans, women leaders, market women, students, met NOGATE, that means the local government staff, met civil servants, civil service union, negotiated this, announced this, made commitments, tangible commitments. We are going to do this from so and so date. We have been doing this. But the PDP was busy saying INEC is going to be biased. They are busy saying we are going to use Amotekun. It's the same trend. Pursuing shadows, the same trend when there is no substance. And nobody, the media is awash. Everybody's a journalist now. Let anybody point to where they saw one Amotekun person in any of the polling units across Ondo State. None, because we've never designed that to be. We knew that security were available. We knew that our people were peaceful. We knew that they were going to vote for us. And we tried to protect even would-be troublemakers. So it's politics. The PDP is so defeated, devastated in its sources, and they are handing on to straws and then trying to, if it were a situation where
oh dear, looks like frozen a bit, but we're still talking about the Ondo elections and the aftermath. That's Mr. Eniola briefing us on how the APC secured victory. I mean, the margin is quite significant, Chamberlain.
Yep.
If you were to double, I mean, multiply by 2 the votes that the PDP secured, I mean, you would see that this is actually the votes that the APC secured is quite significant. But we cannot dismiss what it is that political parties, not just political parties, but also civil society organizations too, have also alleged in terms of this vote trading. I think now that's what they call it, because for there to be vote buying, somebody must be selling the votes. So now I think a new term is vote trading.
So buying and trading now, huh?
Yes, buying and selling of votes.
Buying and selling of votes.
Okay. You know, and would it then account for this significant margin between these two, these two parties? And when you also look at the fact that we have 1.7 million eligible voters, and you're looking at the fact that less than 50% of the voting population turned out to vote in Ondo State, you have to ask if this is not voter apathy. We witnessed another situation of voter apathy, and what could be responsible for that. But usually, political parties might not be very interested in whether there's voter apathy or not. It's about how the elections have come and gone. Who won? We did. And that's where it ends for them. And I think the political calculations will be till the next elections. But I don't know if Mr. Eni is back now. There'll be questions as to, because the 117,000 people plus 117,000 plus people who voted for the PDP are also going to be governed by the governor of the state. He's not just going to be governor for the APC and those who voted him. He's going to be governor for everyone in Ondo State. Those who like him, those who don't. So there'll be questions as to what is he going to do about reconciliation? Because whether or not you accept it, there are people who are going to be sore. And there are those who have said that these elections were not really between APC and PDP per se, because the candidate of the PDP was also a deputy governor to Governor the late Rotimi Akeredolu in his first term. So he was also, how will I put it now, he was also a deputy governorship candidate, just a candidate, deputy governor to him, as well as the current gentleman who has now been elected as governor of the state. So it was a battle between two people who had been deputy governors in Ondo State. So can we really say that, was it a party divided against itself that was in this race, or was it... I think we can take a look at how the elections went down in Ondo State, and then we can also take a look at how the results were announced while we wait for Mr. Eni to join us back. Oh, I think I see him back now. Mr. Niola, can you hear us?
We had network issues, but I'm glad to be back.
Okay, all right.
I can hear you now.
It doesn't look like you're positioned appropriately. I'm hoping that... Okay, so let me just quickly ask you if you can hear me. I believe you can. What exactly the plans would be for reconciliation? Because these results have been announced now. The PDP clearly are dissatisfied. It's unclear if they will go to court. They say they're going to have a proper review in the coming days, giving us, conversation as to how they believe this is going to go down. However, there'll be questions as to how you're going to be governor for everyone. I mean, how the governor is going to be governor for everyone, plus those who voted him and those who did not vote him. What do you think, he should be doing to ease the tensions that usually come after an election has been conducted?
The governor started that almost immediately. In an address to the state yesterday, he said, this is a victory for all. It's a triumph for all of us, a triumph for our unity, for democracy, for progress of the state. He says this is not just my victory, it's actual words. It's a victory for all the people of Ondo State. Either you are in PDP, APC, ADM, YPP, whatever party you are in, the governor is clear that this is a victory for all. And he has gone ahead to say that he is going to run an inclusive government that is going to look for talents everywhere. It's actual words. As a governor, I promise to continue to run an inclusive and participatory.
It just appeared that we're experiencing some network challenges this morning, but there you have that answer that he says he's already started by saying the words. It's one thing to say the words and, it's a victory for all. It's one thing to say the words and that thing to actually walk the talk in terms of bringing everybody, under one leadership. We'll see how the days eventually pan out in Ondo State. But as we're saying, we want to show you how the elections went down in Ondo State.
Mr. Ngishola, can you hear us? I think you're muted, though. Could you check if you can unmute?
Evening. The collation center comes alive at midnight of election day as results from local government areas begin to roll in.
Party A, 1-3.
By 1:50 a.m., results from 13 local government areas had already been announced. At that point, the returning officer, Professor Olayemi Adeomi, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lokoja, calls for a recess.
We have 5 more local governments, but we are going to take our recess now until 5 a.m. to receive from Akoko, Akure North, Okitipupa, and Odigbo. Then Ilaje and Ondo. We resume 5 a.m. for this local government.
By 5 a.m., proceedings resumed and results from 2 additional local governments were announced. The remaining 3, Ilaje, the governor's hometown, Ondo, the local government area of the PDP candidate, and Odigbo were still pending.
Number of registered voters.
By noon on Sunday, however, the 3 remaining local government areas were announced, and the returning officer declared the candidate of the APC winner of the election.
I hear that you are lucky, Orimi son of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Signed by Professor Olayemi Adeomi, the returning officer for this election. Thank you and God bless Nigeria.
The results announcement and the eventual declaration of a winner officially marked the conclusion of the 2024 Ondo State governorship election. Dari Idowu, Channels Television News. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, alongside 9 other APC governors, APC national chairman, as well as other party leaders in the state, make their way into the banquet hall of the government house in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Party officials and supporters are also on ground to celebrate with the governor as they await the final and official declaration.
Aiyedatiwa Lucky Orimisan of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
The atmosphere erupted in joy and jubilation as soon as Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa was pronounced winner of the election. Governor, speaking to newsmen, thanks the people of Ondo State for their support, promising to deliver on his campaign promises to the people of the state.
The only candidate that went through or traversed the entire 18 local government, not just the capital city of the local government, all communities, almost all the communities, we visited them, we see the roads, the way they look like, the environment they are living in. We heard their voices, we read their messages, and we listened and responded to questions and their yearnings and aspirations. So they have that belief that their hope is in me, that areas before that they never had hope before now, their hope has been renewed by the kind of campaign and promises, not just promises alone, giving example, making reference to what we have been able to do in the last 10 months.
Other party leaders and governors at the venue also shared their thoughts on the party's victory in the elections.
But what is more important is that all the major stakeholders in conducting this election, almost everybody believes that this election is free, fair, and credible.
We pray the Almighty God to give Lucky the wisdom and knowledge to rule the people of Ondo State in a manner that our party will continue to be popular, growing from strength to strength in this state.
New Hope agenda is permeating and is being vigorously pursued in different parts, of the state. To congratulate my brother, my friend, the executive governor of Ondo State, Excellency Lucky Aiyedatiwa, for his people giving him another mandate to run this state for another 4 years.
Meanwhile, reactions have continued to trail the outcome of the election by other political parties and civil society groups.
Our party's reaction is that we witnessed massive commercialization of the process. As in, we saw a lot of money trading hands from the major political parties that led. It's a sad thing, but we believe that as we go on, we have a lot to do to sensitize the young people in disregarding these evil mechanisms that governments and government officials and leading candidates have employed in let me say, subverting the true will of the people.
Election offenders arrested during the Ondo election should be handed over to the police for due prosecution. In addition, security agencies should be more proactive in arresting and prosecuting perpetrators of voter inducement and vote buying. Political parties and candidates should refrain from this persistent and unacceptable culture of impunity and this ugly trend of buying votes and looking for ways to undermine the integrity of the electoral process.
As celebrations continue amongst APC leaders, supporters, and indigents of the state, the focus now shifts to the governor-elect Lucky Aiyedatiwa. The people of Ondo State will be hoping that he will match his electoral campaigns with action when he takes his fresh oath of office in February 2025. Eyitope Kute, Channels Television News.
All right, Mr. Akinshola, go ahead and let's conclude on this matter. In terms of the processes, okay, I think we lost him again, but just to say that, I mean, there are those who observed the process and thought, of course, it can be improved upon. Yes, a winner has been declared. The next stages, if they feel hard done by the tribunals, will play a huge role in all of these things, as is normally should be. So we lost Mr. Akinshola there, but we largely heard his perspective on the same matter.